Okay, so we're going to do an update here on TLT. And this is, again, the ETF that tracks the long-term bond, highly correlated with the 10-year treasury. And so this is we'll start with the weekly chart. Still looking like we do have a weekly cycle low, and this is week 2, right? This would be your weekly cycle low on week 30, and then this is your week 2. But at the same time, that is not necessarily great news. Just because something started a new weekly cycle doesn't mean it's going to be bullish. I mean, look at the last weekly cycle. After this decline here, we kind of grinded higher, and then we just dropped after topping on week 7. So given how tightly coiled we are here, this is looking like, consolidation after this downtrend, which would set us up for another leg lower. So that's something that is really important to keep watching. And I think we made a new high today. So 119.74. Yeah, that's right. We made a slight new high today on day 14. We're now in the process of failing. So it's Friday, May 27th, about 1:20 p.m. And so, we have 3 more hours left in the trade, a couple hours left in the trading day, more or less. And we're now, I'll zoom in so everyone can see. After making a new high above yesterday's high, we're now failing, right? So you'd expect, it looks like we're headed for a move to around 117.86, the low from yesterday, basically to make a bearish outside candle, right? So, something like, well, we haven't had a bearish outside candle in a while, so that's interesting. So what may end up happening is, right, we stop somewhere around here, and then Monday we kind of close the deal. We still have a daily cycle low here. Who knows? This could be the top on day 14. We could still keep rallying. TLT tends to move in this kind of grindy fashion. But the junk bonds, that has been going crazy. And today we're getting a little bit of a rest. This is a very textbook topping candle. Now, no idea if it actually will play out that way. We'll have to see. Like Monday, do we get a trade below 98.54? That gives you a swing low, right? Or excuse me, not a swing low, but a swing high. The opposite of a swing low, very bearish, not bullish. And so that's an interesting one to watch. And you can see it's barely dented the weekly. And look at what the weekly did. We had these, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of decline. Call it 4 weeks of decline. This week, and this week. All wiped out this week by this upside. That's bullish. Now, it could also be just a short covering rally that's not going to go any further. That's what we'd have to be on guard for. But this is definitely something to take notice of, right? Junk bonds and corporate bonds, the higher rated ones are actually doing even better, right? It depends. You could say junk bonds have a huge short covering rally. This in this case actually has 3 green weeks, and clearly looking like it printed some kind of major a weekly cycle low at this point. Whereas junk bonds probably just printed their weekly cycle low this week, and so and these are investment grade bonds, by the way, and so these are important markets to watch because they're much larger. The credit markets are much larger than the stock market. And also important, see how he went green on the monthly? So that sets us up for an easier swing low, right? So let's say a trade above 116 on the LQD. Now you can see we start potentially making some forward progress on the monthly chart, right? We start, we do something like that, right? It won't happen in a straight line, right? We kind of stair step our way up. Now, again, because the broader market is under pressure, I doubt that's what we're going to get. This is more likely to be a lower high, but still important to make note of as clues. And just like junk bonds, looks like it might be topping today. Although you could have said the same thing yesterday, and it managed to make a new high today. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out.